Hello, this video is in English instead of my usual Swedish because I thought the subject might interest international viewers, but there are Swedish subtitles available if you click, I don't know, somewhere around here. You can probably also get YouTube to automatically translate the English subtitles to whichever language you prefer, which can probably be confusing and or entertaining. I love Shaun of the Dead, and I'm not gonna spend any time talking about the movie itself because what am I gonna say in a few seconds? Instead, just let's take a look at my collection of copies of the film. I bought the DVD when it came out in the UK, and then I wanted to get some cool limited editions that had come out, and at some point I just decided to try and get every edition I could find. Let's begin with the standard DVDs. This is the first DVD that came out in the UK, and after that there's been a couple of variations of the cover. This is the rental copy. This is the Nordic version with the Swedish cover, the Nordic version with an English cover, and the Swedish rental DVD. The German version, the Australian version, and the Hong Kong version. Nothing exciting, just your standard normal releases. A lot more fun are the countries that changed the title of the movie. The Chinese title for the film is Shaun the Zombie, but for some reason not used on the Hong Kong release. The Japanese version has a katakana on the cover, but it's just used to phonetically spell out Shaun of the Dead. The Hungarian, I'm not gonna try to pronounce this, but it translates to something like Dawn of the Dead Corpses. But I think it's actually some sort of wordplay that doesn't translate very well. The Polish version translates to A Flood of the Living Dead, which is also kind of weird. I don't have the Italian version yet, but it translates to something like Dawn of the Demented Dead, and that at least makes it sound a bit like a comedy. Now we're getting to the alternative covers and releases. The US version is using this artwork, which has a cool picture in the middle here, but I just don't like this border of zombies. It ruins the overall feel in my opinion. Luckily this hasn't been used on many releases at all. A couple of exclusive slipcase versions came out. This one was exclusive to Virgin Megastores and includes a small comic book. This white one was exclusive to HMV, I think, and this is something called the True Brit collection. But inside it's just the standard DVD though. This UK release has a darker and more ominous cover that I really love, and this Belgian Blockbuster release has a really cool dark red metallic cover. There are reports that in Belgium it had the French title of Y a-t-il une zombie dans la salle, which translates to Is there a zombie in the room? Which follows on from a tradition of movie titles starting with Airplane, which was titled Is There a Pilot on the Plane? But I haven't been able to find any release with that title. France did this cool version with a slipcover that opens the subway doors and lets you in. This is also one of the few discs that has a little different content on it, adding the scene from Spaced that inspired the film. A few years after the release of the film, we started getting home cinema in HD. Shaun being a Universal film, it was originally released on HD DVD, which was the format supported by Universal instead of Sony's Blu-ray. There were, as far as I know, 3 HD DVDs, UK, US and Australian. HD DVD, however, did admit defeat, and Universal finally started releasing Shaun on Blu-ray. As before, a bunch of standard releases, British versions with or without digital copies, the US version, and of course the classic Spanish Zombies Party version. The Nordic version went with this cover, which I think is great, and I also have the Hungarian version on Blu-ray. And a Japanese budget re-release with the US artwork. There was the Universal 100th anniversary edition with a nice, slightly embossed slip cover. Next, the comic book Hero series, which also had a steelbook version. Many movies were released with this style, for example, the Fast and the Furious, and if you look closely at the DVD slip cover, and only on the DVD slip cover, it still says Vin Diesel right here. I ordered some stuff from Japan, and you can find some really good stuff for very fair prices there, but the shipping costs and tolls and fees makes it something you don't do every week. So when I ordered these two X-Rental VHS tapes, I meant to order one subtitled and one dubbed, but managed to select two dubbed tapes. And the costs involved means I probably won't order a subtitled copy for quite some time. The tape has its own holder which slides into the top of the outer cover like this. I also got this rental DVD where the actual disc is in this insert, which probably makes it easier to store in the shop and then put the cover on the shelves. I've also got the Swedish VHS tape, which I'm fairly certain was one of the last movies to even come out on VHS here. This was part of Universal's iconic art series, which was also released as a steelbook with a nice copper metallic color. This British steelbook is clean and simple, but the art is sideways, which is something that they did with a lot of steelbooks around that time for some reason. Pretty much the same art as the backside appears on this American steelbook from the shop Fi. American company Mondo released this steelbook with their own exclusive artwork, and they also released the original soundtrack of the film on vinyl in several different versions, all expensive as all hell, and still I have two of them. This Canadian steelbook has a nice cover, except they cut off Shaun's head here for some reason. I've also got this pirate DVD from Malaysia or Thailand. The 4K UHD releases are represented here with the UK Cornetto Trilogy pack and the separate films in their US releases. Shaun's been released in box sets with other movies a lot, but I've decided against buying them because, well, I don't want them. I haven't really paid attention to the Cornetto Trilogy boxes, except for this DVD set signed by Edgar Wright that I won in a competition. Sadly, it's not signed specifically for me, but you know, it's signed. This German tape edition is a lot of fun. It's meant to look like an old battered VHS, but it's too thick. Anyway, you slide out the box from the bottom, and it has these lenticular things on the front and the back. When you open it, you get the Blu-ray and a two-sided German poster which has fake tearing on one side, so it looks old. Lastly, this is the big one. This was made by a company called Everything Blue, and it's so extensive that there are several unboxing videos of this on YouTube. There are two steel books with slip covers, lenticular covers, embossing, cards. It also has the movie. The only thing missing here is a bag of hog lumps. So, am I missing something? Sure. There are lots of pretty standard releases out there from various countries that I don't have, and it's just mostly a matter of buying them. A few more special editions are harder to come across, but I'm keeping my eye out for them. And I'm not the only person collecting Shaun of the Dead copies. I'm not alone in this madness. There's a lot of other stuff out there as well. Posters, props, figurines, comic books, clothes, coins, and etc, etc. But I don't really care for that stuff unless it's really cheap or if it's connected with the actual production. When it comes to things that I can't just go out and buy, I'd love to have things like an actual script, not a reprint that you can buy on eBay, but one that was used when shooting the film. Things like that, screeners, work prints, the original UK quad poster, which usually is pretty expensive. But it's a work in progress, and you never know what's gonna pop up. And if you wanna support my habit, you can sponsor my non-existent Patreon and send me all your cash, I suppose. Did I tell you I also collect The Secret of NIMH?